Right. You ready, Karen?
I think so.
All right. Okay, good evening, and it's good to have you guys here again for our second week, and I'm excited for this study tonight. They're just going to keep getting better. It's just fun, just diving in and seeing what we can all learn. But you know what, let's open with a word of prayer. I'm just going to commit the evening to the Father, and we'll just get started that way. Father, I thank you. I thank you so much for this time to gather together and to learn more again about the process of new life for these babies as they're growing in their mamas, Lord. And God, we just thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for sending Jesus, and just so we could have life and life more abundantly. We just commit this evening to you, Father, in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Last week we talked about nutrition and yeah, like healthy things to eat. Did you make any kind of nutritional changes since last week? Anything that you were like, okay, I can change this and actually do some? Anybody at all?
Not as far as food, but I did get some chlorophyll and stuff.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good, awesome. So you got it, and you're
Actually,
awesome.
have downloaders, so.
Do they? Just wonderful, very good.
So that's
So
right.
you've been taking it for a couple of days. Do you feel a difference at all?
I don't, what are you supposed to do different?
More energetic. I mean, more energy, which could take some time. you know.
Yeah, I mean, ever since I've been starting like more iron in my diet, I do feel a difference, like the energy and stuff.
Good.
So it's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, wonderful. It'll be exciting to see what the next test will show, like if your iron has been going up.
Right. She said that she won't check it again until birth because it wasn't low enough.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I don't know.
So you won't
There's
know.
not really a
until-
way to know, but I'll just keep taking that
Right,
stuff.
right, absolutely. Good, and especially if you start feeling, more energetic and stuff, you know that it's working. Yeah, good, wonderful. It's great. Ashley, any changes at all?
I bought broccoli.
Good for you. And you're eating it raw, or are you steaming it?
Yeah, well, I was actually eating it raw, and I dug up a bunch of carrots in my garden, and then I ate a bunch of those raw. So I was just
Okay.
trying to eat more vegetables. I was
Right.
getting lazy, like mac and cheese, which
Okay.
I don't do a whole lot, but
Uh-huh.
like out of the box. And so
Mhm.
like tonight I made like dinner, like rice
Good.
and
Yeah.
homemade sauce, like no cream of like mushroom soup
Uh-huh,
or anything like
uh-huh.
that, chicken. And
Great.
so yeah, I'm
Right.
just trying to be better about that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, be more mindful of whole foods and
yeah,
yeah.
because I think like the baby like gets all that too and can taste it and everything,
Yes.
and then once it's born, if I'm not eating sugar or whatever, the
Exactly.
baby will go through withdrawal and probably be like crying all the time.
Exactly.
So-
Plus it just gets them introduced to good, healthy whole foods. And
Mhm.
so they'll have, you'll end up not having a baby that'll be like pushing all the good stuff away. They'll
Yeah.
actually be okay eating vegetables and fruits and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's because, yeah, they're tasting all that in the womb. And then the breast milk will have those flavors too. And so it's exciting. There's definitely something, I remember one of the pregnancies that I had, our second son, I craved peanut butter like crazy. And I would eat peanut butter even by the spoon, just a spoonful. He loved peanut butter. Like seriously, peanut butter jelly was his favorite food. Anything with peanut butter. He outgrew it eventually, but it was crazy. Like he just was such a peanut butter freak. And I'm like, that is weird because I was eating
Weird.
a lot. Yeah. So it really does make a difference. Yeah. It was interesting for me. I love like teaching it last week. I started like really being able, watching my foods a lot again. We kind of have, earlier on when I was doing my study, we have went through, because there was a book that we were required to read, Eat to Live by Dr. Joel Furman. I think I mentioned that book last week. And while I was reading the book, I asked my family, could we do this? Could we eat like this just to try it, to see what would happen? So we did like 8 weeks of eating vegan, like no dairy, no meats, nothing. Like everything was raw or steamed. But our dinners consisted of a big salad with seeds and also some beans and things in it. And then a big bowl of fresh fruit. And breakfast was oatmeal with raw honey. Like we did the whole thing. And it was really, really interesting. everyone in our family, because everybody was on board, and everyone had something that changed. My husband, which was crazy, the first week he went through a horrible withdrawal, and we talked about last week with your sister-in-law. He got so sick. He finally said, I can't do this. Like, this is ridiculous. He felt like he was dying. And I said, please, let's just do it one more day. I think you'll be okay. Like, I think it's just like going through all the detoxing and all that. So he kept on. And he had splitting headaches. He was in bed. It was a mess. And about 1 week, he just was fine. He was great and a lot more energy and stuff. But it was caffeine and sugar is what he was withdrawing from. And you know, from that point on, he became a totally quiet sleeper. He snores like crazy. And even sleep apnea symptoms. All that was gone. He became like such a quiet sleeper. Like, totally. And all that, I mean, all those sleep apnea symptoms were gone. Some of the other kids, one of the really interesting things, and this is a little personal, but all the girls, because we have 4 girls, okay? Well, Rosa wasn't at home anymore. It was Rachel and Karen and Linda and Joanna. But the 3 girls that were having their periods, all of them stopped totally stopped having any kind of cramps, any kind of PMSing, anything. Totally stopped. They were like, oh my word, this is crazy. Like, there's nothing. Like, everything, there's nothing. No bloating, no nothing. So that was really, really cool. And of course, and so a couple of the kids we discovered that probably have lactose intolerant because they started like not being nasal, I mean like their breathing passages started opening up and they weren't as nasally and their speech became more clear. So that was like, there was a lot of cool things. And in the midst of all that, we all just lost weight too. So it was all cool. I just wish we would really stay like that all the time and we brought things back into our diets again and stuff. But anyway, I'm kind of back on track with that again because I'm like, this is cool. I want to go back to this. So I'm kind of doing that again myself, which is fun. So we'll start seeing some kind of results. And as you guys, you know, just each week, just kind of just being mindful of what you're taking in and you know, just making good choices. So. We're going to talk about, okay, well first of all, did any of you bring like an affirmation or a scripture or anything like a relaxation, something that you want to share with us, like any kind of a verse, anything that is very, like reminds you to relax or something that you did?
I have that book that the Supernatural.
Yes, you have that book.
I mean, I read the book
Yeah.
once, but in the end, it has like prayers or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've been reading it. I mean, I pray it every night, so that's
Do
just
you?
kind of, and it's like comforting because it's like you speak, you know, to the baby like all these different things and stuff. So that's just what I've been doing.
That is really, really good. That is really, yeah, that's awesome. And to keep that up because it really, the more you speak that over yourself and the baby, the more you'll just be like, yes, like confident. Because
Well,
of
and the
that.
one has like, you know, like against fear, like speaking
Yes.
up, like if I go through days where I'm like worried about this, worried about that, I just look through that and
Yeah.
it makes me feel better. So.
Exactly. That's awesome. That's awesome. In fact, talking about that book, just recently a friend of mine called me and she said, and she knew that I had read the book and she knew that I had it and everything. And she said, I have to share this with you. She said a friend of mine she just had her fourth or fifth baby. And previously she had bad deliveries, like just, maybe not bad, but just hard. And so she got this book and started every day reading the scriptures over herself, praying over herself. She had a total supernatural childbirth, like no pain at
that's
all,
good to hear.
nothing, no pain. She said it was wild. She said one of the nurses even said, wow, you've totally reversed the curse that was on Eve.
Wow.
Because she said there was nothing, no. I mean, there was pressure, but no pain, no pain. So, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Did you see that Dominic Russo's mom's births are in there? Dominic's baby picture's in there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's so.
I know, so you have to check that out. Somebody that we know, their testimony, the mom's testimony is in there.
Oh my goodness.
Of her.
I never
her
heard of
births.
that book.
It's really
Yeah.
cool. really
Get
cool.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. That it takes dedication to just speaking that over yourself.
I usually have it right by my bedstand, so every night before I go to bed, I just
Yeah.
read through it.
Wonderful. Very
It'll
good.
probably be something I'll want to take to the hospital too.
Right, probably,
Just-
and have David reading over
Right.
you, because those things. That's why it's good to start already on those kinds of things that you want to keep, like things that bring you peace, things that keep you calm and relaxed, and then because it's all practice, and then during labor to have somebody do that over you, you remember the feeling you had. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, I remember. It just brings peace, and you you just kind of automatically go into that peaceful mode. That's good. Yeah. So that's all like things of relaxation techniques that we want to look at. What brings you the most comfort? Even think about when you're sick, or you're not feeling well. What do you like? How do you like people to treat you? That like when you're, do you just want to be left alone, or do you like when people cater to you? Or what causes you just to be like, relaxed? Those are the things that will work during labor as well. And that's why it's really good to start even making notes of that. Like some people love their feet treated, massage and all that. That would probably really feel good to you during labor. Some people don't. So you might want to make a note, say, please don't touch my feet because I hate it, or something like that. Really make aware of what feels good to you already. And just getting to know yourselves and getting to know what works is really, really good. And your partners as well. Like find out where does she like to be touched? Where does she like, what kind of rubbing, what kind of massaging feels good? Light touch, heavy, like more of a deeper touch. All those things are practice. And you just really get to know each other. And it really, really works. It helps. It's something we really, really encourage and communicate those things. It's a good time to really learn communication around, getting to know each other in that kind of way. So yeah, good, wonderful. Ashley, do you have anything to share?
For relaxation?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't really bring or look up
Mhm.
like a poem or something. I go to the pool
Good.
and I
Yes.
swim. Or
Yes.
I don't sauna now, but I used to sauna like
Okay.
3-4 times a week.
Okay. Right.
Just sweat and I just like hot heat.
Right. But you
So-
don't do so much of that now.
Yeah, I can't do it. No.
No, right.
So I did that this week. Just went to the pool and just like swam.
Good. That's
yeah.
that's a great. The pools are wonderful. When you're
Yeah.
pregnant,
So
'cause it uses all those muscles and again relaxing.
yeah.
The water is. If you enjoy the water now, you're going to enjoy the water during labor as well.
Yeah, I know. But they don't birth the babies underwater at the hospital.
No, they don't. But you can be in the water up until they're
yeah.
not crowning. So
Okay.
that'll help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Definitely. Good. Wonderful. Another question. What do you, and this is going to be for the guys too, what do you all know about, do you know anything about your birth when you were born? Has your mom told you your birth story? What is it that you know about your birth? Who wants to go
Something
first?
I can write. I just, thank goodness my mom was able to finish my baby book before she passed away, so.
She just finished it before.
Yeah,
Are
because she
you
wanted, because I
serious?
was the first one out of us
Yeah.
kids to get married, so she's like, well, I'm gonna quick finish hers. So she got it all done, and I was reading through it the other night. And apparently, she, very shortly, or barely made the hospital. She actually had to be, I think she started labor, 7? I was born at 10.
7
And that was
months.
till she started, like, getting ready, like, having contractions and showering, and till she was at the hospital. I was born at 10 o'clock. Well, she had to actually go to the emergency room then, because I was already pretty much coming out when she got there, so. Very fast labor.
Wow. Do you know what Jeff's was like at all?
I should ask again, but I think we were all kind of that way. I think it was
Okay.
all pretty
Yeah.
fast. But I should ask because he would have been the first
You
one.
were the
so.
first one. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask him.
Interesting. That's really, yeah. Cool.
Lucky you.
Yeah, that's genetics there. or
Yeah.
It does seem to. I mean, you don't want to. I'm not going to tell you to bank on that.
something. Right.
But I do like to ask the questions. What was your mother? What were your mother's labors like? And what were her deliveries like? Because it does sort of. It is kind of genetic. It really.
Yeah, I think she always went early too, at least a
Did she?
week to 10
Yeah.
days early. So.
And that too is very. My family, we always would go late.
Oh.
And my girls weren't, but my boys were. And all my sisters, except for my one sister, there was 4 of us. My one sister didn't go late usually, but 3 of us would go late. And especially with our boys, we'd go like 2 weeks late.
Wow.
And so, and Rosa she went a week late, but she was doing all kinds of things to not go later,
Right.
you know? So I think some of the things that she was doing really did help. And we all, yeah, so in my family, it really does hold true. We all have big babies with lots of hair and all that. And our neighbors were, yeah, so it did. I mean, it does. And I think, for my mom died when I was 7, so I never asked her about my birth story. But everybody says that it seemed like she would go, like her labors were just a piece of cake, like they really weren't a big deal. So, yeah, that's those things. Dathan, what do you know about your birth?
I'm not even sure. I know
Okay.
Mom told me already, but I'll have to
So you
ask her
don't-
again.
yeah.
It's been a while. So.
Yeah.
I know I was born at home.
Were you? Okay, and it was a planned home birth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. John, you know anything about your birth?
I just, did I hear you correctly? You say your mother passed away? My condolences. I'm sorry. She must have been very young.
I think it's about a year and a half ago, was it?
Oh, wow. Yeah, sorry, what a tragedy. My birthday, not much. It was very cold. I remember when I came out.
You remember feeling the cold, like, whoa, what is this?
The funny thing about it is now, I don't know if it was a dream or what, but I really did. I felt very cold.
Are you
don't
serious? You
remember
do?
that.
Seriously, I felt
You have, like-
cold and shaky, and I felt drafts.
You have like a memory of that.
For some reason, I have no idea.
So
And that went way back. I don't know
Yeah.
if that was literally from that point or
Yeah.
what, but no, I'm not making that up.
Yeah.
I felt very cold. I don't know if it was in the hospital. I don't know. I don't remember exact details, but I
Interesting.
remember from the beginning I was
Yeah.
extremely cold, drafty, and I just felt very uncomfortable. And my crying didn't do anything because nobody listened, or you know what I mean. It wasn't
Yeah.
like they didn't understand what my crying meant with the drafts and stuff like that. I don't want to sound crazy, but
Right.
that's exactly the way I felt. Now, could that have happened at 1-year-old? Possibly, but that's about as
But you have a
far
memory.
back as I can go.
Mhm.
Yes.
That is kind
Can't
of
put
really
an exact
interesting,
date on
and
it.
I'm not writing that off because I hear crazy things, and
Yeah,
and I can say, there is something to that.
I couldn't
There.
put an exact time on it or date, but
Yeah.
it was very early on in my childhood or my birthing process. Other than that, did my mother ever say anything or my father? No. I mean, it was 8.2 pounds, and they were happy that I was alive, and that's all. That was it.
Okay, through your childhood, did you ever feel listened to then, like you felt heard, or did you often feel like that you weren't heard?
No, I thought I was heard.
Okay. So it was just like a baby time that you felt like nobody was hearing your cries or they weren't
Yeah,
understanding.
no, that was way early.
Yeah.
That was very early.
Yeah.
That's all I could do was cry.
Yeah.
I didn't know English or Spanish at the time. So
That
that's
is-
all I could
that
do.
is so interesting.
No Espanol.
Right. Oh my goodness. Ashley, what? Yeah, sure. You've met everybody, right?
Yeah.
You met John and Ashley. You of course know Dathan and Jody. So Ashley.
Yeah, I don't know. I was born at Effort Hospital, and my mom didn't have any epidural or no pain meds or whatever. And she's a nurse, so she was schooled in that, but
Right.
she didn't have anything. She didn't want anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was all. She that was back in the day when you just like laid down
Mhm.
and like pushed laying down. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know like how long they were, or she said my brother was like 9.5 pounds and he wasn't coming out. So I mean, she had big babies too.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
yeah. I
So
don't
it's,
know.
her births were fairly easy as well.
No, I don't know. Easy. I mean, she
Okay.
said it hurt,
Mhm.
and that she had an episiotomy with me,
Okay.
and So
Because she needed
she said
water,
it
that was
hurts. I
this
mean,
procedure.
afterwards, and you just sit on the. They put a little bowl in the toilet with water. She said
Right,
it.
it sits back.
It hurts. Yeah. She said it's- yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so,
Right. Good.
yeah.
Good. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Tonight we're going to be studying. Oh, I have some handouts. Forgot to give you these. For class 2, and we're going to be talking about true or false labor, focusing more on the true labor because the better we know what true labor is like, here, this is a packet for you. The better we know what true is like, the better we will, we really don't have to study the false or the counterfeit, just like money. Like you don't study the counterfeit money, you study the true so that you know what is counterfeit when it comes along. So we're going to be looking at true labor contractions. And I think that's where you have some blanks to put in. We fill in some blanks. True labor contractions have definitely definite peaks that build. Okay, you start out, a contraction is coming, and it comes and it builds. It goes up and up and up and up, and it peaks and comes back down again. That's a true contraction. Your Braxton Hicks that you're having now is probably just like tight, 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 right? It doesn't really necessarily go up and you know, like that, right? It's more just tight, correct? So you have a Braxton, you don't, okay, so you not have any, okay, so good. And that's a true contraction will have its rises and falls. They could start out 10 minutes apart, but as time goes on, they become stronger. False can stay kind of the same all across the board. True ones, well, the rising and falling, and they become stronger. If they're, okay, let's write that down. Number 2 is become stronger and closer together. Then number 3 is nothing makes them diminish. Nothing makes them go away. A really good thing to do, and we'll cover that down and see then. Actually, let's just fill that in right away. If you're having contractions and you're wondering, is this the real thing or not? Soak in a deep, down at C, we're going to fill those blanks in. Soak in a deep, very warm bath for 20 to 30 minutes, and that will determine if it's true labor. If it's not true labor, you'll soak in the tub and they go away because your muscles relax and they're gone. So you do want to test, okay, is this true or isn't it true? Another thing is, if you're upright, you're moving around, you're like, oh man, is this the real thing? Go lay down for a while. Do something different than what you've been doing. If changes make them stop, if changes make them change, it's not real. So always, just kind of test that out. If you're laying down and they're starting like at nighttime, well, the best thing if they start at night and you're wondering, is this real or not? Just go to sleep. Just keep sleep. Just fall asleep. The best thing to do if they start at night is try to get a night's sleep. Because guess what? The next morning is going to be hard work. So you want to get your sleep. So don't be up and around and saying, okay, I wonder if this is real, walking around pacing. Just go to sleep. If they're real, they'll stay there. And if not, at least you got a night's sleep, So, but if they get stronger and stronger when you're laying down, just get up and walk around for a bit and just make changes and see if they go away. Number 4 of an A again is they radiate back to front. It's kind of like I say, they kind of grab your whole body. Where Braxton Hicks are the ones that are real, they just kind of stay low. And we talked about that last week. They stay horizontal. Where the real ones go vertical, more vertical. They just kind of grab you. So you can just pay attention to that. Are they going back and forth, like from the back to the front, and just kind of all over, or they just staying low and just. So that's another thing. There be false labor contractions. Definitely have no peaks. They just, just stay neutral across the board. They stay pretty much the same, not really any changes. They don't get stronger or closer together. They just stay like maybe 20 minutes apart, like all day long. So you really don't have to pay much attention to them. They're not going to do a whole lot. They're not the contractions that are going to bring forth the baby. They're preparing everything, but they're not going to bring the baby down. Number 3, changed by changes in activity. False labor contractions changed by changes in activity. And number 4, they're usually all in the front. They don't go from the back to the front, and they just kind of stay in the front. Okay, and we already did C, soak in deep, very warm water, warm bath for 20 to 30 minutes. And then D, again, keep drinking your water. Dehydration can cause contractions. If you get dehydrated, it can bring on contractions even early, like too early. So keep drinking your water. I just cannot stress that enough. Just drink lots of water. A full bladder can cause contractions. And again, when you have to pee, go pee. Don't try to hold it back, because they can cause contractions as well. Another area that I want to talk about is, okay, we're getting ready for the baby, and there's going to be clothes to buy, there's going to be the car seat to get, things to prepare if you're doing a nursery and preparing, but a lot of things really are not things to do as far as like preparing. Most of the preparation is actually learning how to relax, learning like it's not physical things, okay? It's more, and even mentally and emotionally. It really is more, we always say birthing happens more between the ears than it does between the legs. Birthing is much more of a mental thing than anything, so you want to be prepared. And the more educated you become, the more relaxation, the more you practice relaxation, all those things are really good preparations. Those are the really good things. The other stuff can actually wait. I mean, if you don't have a crib, big deal. The baby's going to be okay. He can sleep with you. It's not a big deal. You can do that those after. Right now, focus on yourselves, building the baby, eating healthy to build the baby correctly, relaxation, like learning all those things are going to be really key to have the success, to have the birth that you're looking for. And another area is actually, it's also very emotional and mental and spiritual preparations, dealing with fears, anxieties, hurt, shame, or negative emotions and ideas. So again, Jody, just like you talked about, when you're dealing with fear, what do? Do you stay in the fear, or do you take care of it? Right, you said you go and you read, you pray, you read scriptures over yourself. Good job, because we don't want fear. Birthing is, going into labor is nothing to fear. So if there's been any kind of fear in your life, look at it and deal with it now. If there's been any kind of guilt, like let's look at these things and deal with them before birthing. Something that I wrote in my journal back when I was starting like our studies, and Karen, you can attest to this too, is a lot. In the beginning, it becomes, we really lay a foundation, a spiritual foundation in our studies. And so we were taught and asked to journal. And this is something that the Lord really spoke to me during the time in the beginning of my studies, and as I was just spending time with Him and asking Him, like what? Okay, I'll just read straight from my journal. The question that we had to answer was, having an intimate relationship with our Father is, okay, the question was, is having an intimate relationship with our Father relevant to childbearing families? And I said, yes, it is, because I believe during those times, God really wants to fine-tune us in every area of our lives to prepare the family for one of His most prized possessions. You think about our baby is coming straight from God, it's coming from heaven, and it really is God's most prized possession. God always has our best interests in mind, and He wants every baby that is born to have an abundant life and know their Creator intimately all through their lives. Families are God's design, and He longs for us to be walking together in unity and harmony. God will use every available opportunity during pregnancy and birth to put his finger on areas in our lives that are not totally surrendered to him, to create a safe place for every child that is born. So as I was writing that, I was like, God, you're so amazing. You just love us so much. And not that he's wanting to like, wow, this is what you did. It's not that. He loves us so much that he wants a really safe place for the baby to come to. A family that loves unconditionally, that will take care of this little one. So that is what I encourage you to focus more on those kinds of things, on how to prepare emotionally, spiritually, rather than all the things to get. Because, like I said, those things can come after. Right now is the time to just reflect and just take care of things that are not healthy, you know. So, and labor does not begin all of a sudden. Like you see on TV where, like, all of a sudden a woman's in labor, like, oh, and she has to fly home or something. Labor does really not, it does not begin like that. There are signs that you can see, and signs that things that will come up that you're like, oh, I think maybe I'm getting, like, this could be the day. And some of those things are, okay, I think this is something, again, that we're going to be filling in. Signs of impending labor. The mucus plug. Maybe you're losing your mucus plug, which your mucus plug is a plug that keeps all, you know, just is in there that keeps everything closed up, like a cork. And someday it's just going to pop out. It's just going to fall out. And you might go to the bathroom and wipe and be like, oh my word, this, like, what's all this mucus? Most likely you're losing your mucus plug. And that is a sign of impending labor. It might not happen that day. It might actually be a couple of days, but you know, okay, I'm getting close. I'm getting really close. Sometimes the mucus plug is tinged with blood. So you really know the cervix is changing. You know that labor is coming one of these days, like really, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the following day, but it is close. It is getting very close. So A, there's mucus plug accompanied by bloody show. You could also have like mucus, like after a vaginal exam, if you're at the midwife or the doctor, they do a vaginal exam, you might see mucus after that, or after sex. There could be blood tinge, but usually that is more tinged with a darker, more brown color. It's not the red like blood. It's more just a discharge, like a dark brown. Another sign of labor is fluid gush or leak. Again, your bag of waters will break sometime. It could be on the onset of labor, and it could be anytime during labor, or it might not actually happen until the baby is being born, like we talked about last time. But there will be, sometimes there's going to be just a fluid gush or leak. Sometimes it can be like, that can happen kind of in the middle of anywhere. You could be in a grocery store, and like all of a sudden, like, shoo, like the water just gushes. Or you might experience a leak, like, you just find yourself getting wet again, like just over and over, having to change or something, and like, because it can just be a trickle, or it can be a full-out gush, and nobody knows how that's going to be. I remember back when we were taking birth classes, when I was pregnant the first time, they told us, if it happens in a grocery store, you're shopping and your water just breaks, just grab a jar of pickles and drop it and just pretend that's what it was. Like, nobody needs to know it was your water. You know? Just like, oops, the pickle jar broke. Because sometimes it could be a gush. It's, you know, you never know what it's gonna look like. But check the water. Make sure that it's clear. You're gonna want to look for clear fluid. If it's like brownish or like tinged with yellow or brown, most likely there's meconium in the water where the baby has already pooped. Most times it's not a big deal, but it is something that they're going to want to know at the hospital. Either they're going to check, they're going to want to see, or they're going to want to know what did it look like. So just observe that. Make sure that it is clear, that it's not tinged with like a brown or green or yellow. And don't go interfere if it is, but just make a note of that, say, I think there was meconium in the water. And diarrhea. Again, on the onset of labor, you know a sign of impending labor is diarrhea. And the diarrhea is caused by okay, I have to think of that word again, the prostaglandin hormone which causes the cervix to soften and the ligaments and tendons and play a role in beginning labor. It's a hormone that is being released that softens everything, and so you might have diarrhea. And also, it also helps to clean out the digestive system, the digestive tract for the baby to come down through. Because as the baby's coming down, you're going to be cleaning out. And so that could be a reason why you're having diarrhea. You might be going to the bathroom, having diarrhea like 2 or 3 times a day. Make a note of that and think, I think maybe I'm getting close to labor. Just because of things, the hormones that are being, expelled in your body and the baby coming down, moving down. And again, contractions that increase in intensity and duration. And we'll talk about that more in another class too, about contractions and the intensity and everything. But that, again, is a sign of impending labor. Okay, this is going to be things that go into is the positions of the baby. We are going to, I just want to show you the ideal, this is a position that we're going to want the baby to be in. I mean, this is the ideal position, is the baby facing the the face toward the back. This is the back of the mom, okay? The baby facing the back is the ideal way for a baby to be born. And that's called the anterior. Anterior is the baby's front faces the mother's back. That is preferred for labor and delivery. Posterior is the baby's back toward the mom's back, which then will probably cause back labor because the baby's head is pushing onto the mom's tailbone, which is a harder part, and that's going to cause the baby, it'll be fine, the baby will be fine, the baby might take a little longer to come, labor might be a little longer, and it'll be probably more back labor. So the ideal is having the baby, the face toward the back. B was posterior. Baby's back faces the mother's back. And then the word vertex, because you're going to hear all these things probably as you visit the hospitals or visit your midwife. Vertex is the baby's head in the presenting, like down. That's how you want your baby to be born, is head down. If it's breech, it's presenting, if the doctors say, oh, your baby is breech, it means the baby's coming the opposite way, either butt first, like this, where they're going to see the butt come out first and the head is delivered last, or feet are coming out first and the head is last. A little more difficult because the head comes last. It can be done, but it's a little more difficult just because the biggest part of the baby is being born last. So ideally is this way. And then there's transverse, which the baby is like this. And that would probably call for a C-section. If you're in labor and the baby's transverse, because there's really no way the baby's going to get down in there if it's laying sideways. But if you go, because you'll be being checked, like say the month, like 4 weeks before, and they're saying your baby's breech or your baby's transverse, there is something that they can do at the hospital called an external version. So if you hear, like if the time comes and they say it's breech or it's transverse, again, there is things you can do. There's exercises you can do that we could walk you through. And if that doesn't happen, there is what they call an external version. You can go to the hospital and they can actually turn the baby externally. I had went with a young mom that her baby needed to be turned, and she really wanted somebody to be there with her. So I went with her, and that was a really neat experience because I'd never seen anything like it. But so they hook you up, and everything's monitored. There's making sure the baby is not going to be, that the cord doesn't wrap around the neck or anything, or that the cord. They're watching it. They're making sure the baby's okay. Two people come, and externally on the outside of the mom's stomach, push like crazy. One with the head, one having the head, and one the butt, and they just push with all their might to turn the baby. And the time that I went with this young mom, they actually did it. The baby went down. Yes, it doesn't always work. So if it would happen, if that ever comes up, don't be afraid of it. It will, it's okay. But you don't want to do it really after 36 weeks. They don't want to do the external version anymore because by then the baby's growing bigger and it's going to be harder to turn it. So just so that you know what these terminologies are, not that we expect that to happen, but just to prepare you in case, these things come up, and so you have some information of what they're talking about. So, and again, the most favorable or desirable position for the baby is what we call LOA, is the left occiput anterior, which again, head down a little to the side. That is why we really encourage you to do your pelvic tilt exercises. The pelvic tilt exercises, as you do them, 10, 15 of them at a time, do that, you're actually causing the baby to go into the right position. And then another step, after doing like your pelvic tilt, like say 10 or 15 of them, like arching your back, letting your stomach drop again, like you're getting the baby to go into that position. And so after you're doing that, then lay on your left side for about 10 or 20 minutes, because you're going to want the baby to go to again, it's left occiput anterior. You want the baby to go to the left side. That is the most preferred way to deliver your baby, because the left side has the descending colon goes to the left, and it kind of creates and causes a pillow for the baby. It can happen to go to the right, but the colon's not going to go to the right. The colon, all that goes to the left to kind of create like all the whole thing of the colon, and it creates a pillow for the baby. So that's the most preferred position. So again, the pelvic tilt exercise, and then just laying on your left side for a while, just to get the baby into that position, is really helps, and it's ideal. And sit, when you sit, don't sit reclining. That's not a really good idea, because it's not a real good position to keep the baby going like to the position that you want it to be birthed in. A birth ball. You have a birth ball, I think Rosa said. You got one of those exercise balls?
I don't yet.
You don't
She
yet,
said
okay.
I can use her, so.
Right, okay, and I'll be getting mine back. I should, Saji has it right now. I should have her bring it to me tomorrow. A birth ball is actually, you know what, it might actually be something that you do want to have. They really don't cost that much. One of those the exercise ball. Do you know what I'm talking about, Ashley? They don't cost that much, and they're great to sit on, to be in a really good posture. You have really good posture on them, and just to exercise on it, and to just learn how to use the ball, because you might really it's a good tool to have during birth. So if you want to invest in one, and you can use, maybe Rosa might even be done with this too. I mean, they're not yet, because another thing after the baby is born, it's a great thing to bounce the baby on. Babies are, if you think about it, when you walk, what you're walking, the baby is like bouncing up and down, right? It's not rocking back and forth. So some babies don't really like to be rocked as much as they do bounced. Kellen, our little grandson, so predictable. He wants to be bounced all the time. And so you're either doing this or like jumping up and down, like rocking doesn't cut it for him. Or we sit on the birth ball, just bounce it, and he always goes to sleep. Always. And so that is it's ideal. For your mom, for you guys, after birthing, you're not going to be able to do that so much, like the bouncing, but it's a great tool for the daddies because it's something that really works. And it's just fun. I mean, it's kind of, you just sit there and you just bounce. It's not hard, but you guys will probably be a little too sore for a while to do that, probably. But it's great for the guys. Better than rocking. So it might be something you want to, consider having around for a while. So if you want to sit and watch TV, just get out the birth ball, just sit there and bounce around, just kind of do things like that. It just is a great exercise, and it's great to just get the baby down in the right position. So just work with a birth ball. Okay, here I have cardinal movements. What time is it? I'm not wearing a watch, and I'm not.
Sure, probably about 8.
Is it 8? You're not wearing. You don't have your phone on you.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's almost 8.
Is it okay? We're just going to do this, and then we'll take a break. The cardinal movements. This is really, really interesting, and you might want to make a note. There is a really cool YouTube that shows the cardinal movement. I just go on YouTube and just type in cardinal movement, and it's like an animated one. But it's really cool. It shows you how the baby comes out, which pictures, but it's just kind of cool watching it actually happen. The baby is, okay, the engagement, the first word, when the baby's coming down into the pelvis, is called engagement. The descent, as the baby keeps coming down, the baby's making these movements. It's coming down, and then it's coming, it's going to turn, and then all of a sudden, like here at this part, which is the neck, the descent is the baby moves down into the pelvic inlet. The flex on is the baby's head flexes forward as it encounters pelvic and perineal muscles. And then they just make the coolest movements. They don't just come down. They come down and then they pop up and they turn, and then the extension is this part right here where the baby's head then kind of to get around the pubic bone, it just kind of pops out off, like the chin gets up off the chest, and its head arches kind of back, and then about that soon they flip to the side and facing the mom's thigh, and that's to get the shoulder then to pop out. So they do all this it's just when you're watching it, and daddies, when you're watching it, if you're going to be watching the birth, it's just cool. They just come down and they do these quick turns, it's just coming out of some kind of just what it is, a canal. Just have the way it fits in there and it turns and it. So it's really cool. All these different positions. So yeah, if you want to look at that more, go on that YouTube and just watch it. It's this is so good. They're quick movements, really fast, all the way around and then pop. And it's really neat. My note says baby has to do a wiggle dance to be birthed. It doesn't just come out. They wiggle and they just dance it around till they actually move all the way out. Okay, we're going to take a break and go have some snack, and then we'll come back and finish up, and then we're going to do a relaxation technique tonight, which I'm excited about. We're going to have, that's why you brought your pillows. We're going to have some time to go into a deep, relaxing state and maybe even fall asleep, which is awesome. So, okay.